Oh, yeah. And welcome out, Dodger Digest fans. Good to have you guys on. Big Dodger fans out here. Here you go. Brad J with you on Dodger Digest, bringing the show to you for a complete hour, or at least that's the plan. That's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to try and kick it with you for about an hour here as we get into another Dodger game coming up later tonight. And the one thing that I've got to say about the Dodgers so far is do you realize that we are undefeated at home? There has not been a Dodger lost at home yet. So the Dodgers doing their thing at home and keeping the drive alive. So a little stumble on the road, but you got to do that occasionally to get back to your winning ways, and the Dodgers doing just that. Brad J with you here for the next hour, kind of building things up, talking about the Dodgers. But, I mean, if you're going to talk about the Dodgers, what are you going to talk about? You're going to talk about Tommy frickin' Edmonds. Tommy Tanks. What is up, man? Talk about a stealth pickup for the Dodgers. Talk about a stealth signing, a 5-year deal with Tommy Edman. I mean, I don't think you can get better than that situation. I don't think that any other teams thought Tommy could produce like that. And it shows, here's the deal. It shows you what a quality team that the Dodgers have put together. Because the other teams didn't see it. And here's Tommy Edmonds, who undoubtedly MVP, NLCS. But Tommy Tanks, 6 home runs for the Dodgers this season. And to see him do what he's been doing, 20 RBIs. But the biggest thing about Tommy Tanks is, where do you want him? Where do you want Tommy to play? Do you want Tommy to play at second base? Or do you want Tommy to play in center field? And, with what's been going on, is, we've been having some trouble. Pajes has not been putting it together for the Dodgers out there in center field. And so that puts Tommy Edmonds' gig kind of, what does he do? Is he the odd man out? Does Tommy Edmonds not play second? Does he have to go bail Pajes out and play in center field? I mean, if you're the Dodgers at this point, you got the luxury of different guys to bring around and move around. And one of the biggest things we'll get to in a little while is Ha-Seong Kim. I feel like what he has done so far in the 53 at-bats I think that he's had at OKC, I think he's proved that he needs to come up. And if you think about it, the Dodgers have a Korean night coming up. I think it's Wednesday night. So would you bring the Korean up before that so he could play in the Dodgers on Korean night? I got to think that's going to be a done deal, but I'll get to that in a second. Still want to talk about Tommy Edmonds. Nobody thought that Tommy Tanks would be this kind of guy. I doubt it, because if another team would have thought about that, they would have done something to get him. And for the Dodgers to sign him for a 5-year deal, I think it's great. And the fact that and we talk about, he can play second base. The dude can play center field. But think about this. He's a switch hitter too as well. So he can turn around and go from whatever side of the plate you need him to. So Tommy Edman, a huge pickup for the Dodgers. Pumped that they made that acquisition. And to know that he's on the team for 5 years. And so I don't even want to see a stupid story out there saying the Dodgers might trade. You know the stories I'm talking about. The rumor mill. I don't ever want to see when the Dodgers owe it to Tommy. Tommy owes it to the Dodgers. And so he's going to be a Dodger for a long time. Let's talk about Roki Sasaki for just a minute. Roki has had a couple opportunities, played in 3 games. 4.15 ERA. He's going to get the start tonight. And you can see the Dodgers are very safe with Roki and what they do with him, how they try to kind of bring him along and not get too many pitches. And if he gets in trouble, get him out before he just comes, undone, because the guy is a perfectionist, and that's all he's ever known in his entire baseball career, is being a perfectionist and getting dudes out. And when he's on his nasty patrol, that dude can get guys out in a big way. So you got Roki Sasaki pitching tonight. He's only pitched 8.2 innings, but he's been into 3 games, 9 strikeouts, 4.15 on the ERA side of things for Roki. I don't know what you think on that. How many innings do you give him? You try to get him to go 6? I doubt that. I think that probably he'll get 5 innings in, and I'll probably pull him before the 6. But if he's on point and he's got a low pitch total, what's your leash? Let's hear the comments down below on what you would do with Roki Sasaki on that. Also, hey, while you're at it, man, I think 45% of you have subscribed, about 55 have not. So why don't you do yourself a favor and get along one of the fastest growing Dodger channels out there, Dodgers Digest, and subscribe. If you have trouble committing, it's okay, man. Everybody, from time to time has trouble committing. I mean, Brad Stradamus, has had trouble committing in the past. And, the first way to do it is hit the sub button. I mean, at first you're going to be, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just did that. But then you're going to be stoked because every day you're going to get Dodger news. So subscribe, like, turn on notifications. All right, once again, how many innings do you give him tonight? Do you let Sasaki go for it and just, hey, man, we need you to go 7? Heck no, you don't let him go 7. There's no way you let him do that. The minute that he gets in trouble around the 5th or the 6th inning, then you got to get him. You just hope that he starts strong. I mean, Dodger Stadium, that's the place to start. So great for him. Glad that he, didn't have to pitch in Washington and deal with that. All right, so Pajes. Let's talk about the 500-pound gorilla in the room, Andy Pajes. And that's been one that obviously the last few years, the last couple of years, James Outman has been the one to start in center field for the team. And unfortunately, Outman's not been able to produce in that role. And so this year with his spring training, Pajes earned a spot in center field, and that's where he's at. And that's where the Dodgers are playing him. The only bummer about this is he's had 44 at-bats, and he's batting 159. Yes, can someone come out of that? Of course they can. That's not something that's a mountain too tall to climb. He's got 2 home runs, 44 at-bats, though, but his OPS 606. That's not getting it done. The 2 RBIs not getting it done. The 2 home runs aren't getting it done. So how much time do you give Pajes, right? How much time do you give him? All right, let's go to some of the questions out there. Luapo Sefe says, let's go Big Blue. D. Saxon chiming in. Tommy is clutch. Great acquisition for the Dodgers. Yeah, indeed. And Ruben says, Tommy, one of the best acquisitions ever. We need power from this team. Go Dodgers. More power from this team. Thank you, Ruben, for that. Thanks, D. Thanks, Luapo, for sending that stuff in. And Tommy's been clutch. But what's Tommy? Tommy's only batting 237, okay? So Tommy's not tearing it up, but he's got 6 home runs and he's got 20 RBIs, and that's pretty damn good because he can play second base. He can play center field. He's a guy that you want just to be able to use when you need him. So Tommy Tanks, big ups to Tommy and what he means for the Dodgers. And, look, he's in charge of all the scoring from yesterday's game. That's Tommy Edman right there. When guys weren't getting it done, Freddie comes back. He's not able to get it done. I think Freddie had 2 strikeouts, but Tommy Tanks making it happen when it counts. So congratulations, Tommy. Big pickup for the Dodgers. Huge for your Los Angeles Dodgers. We're happy about that. All right. But back to Pajes. What do? Do you move? Okay. Hang with me on this move. Do you move Pajes, okay, out of center field, put Edman out in center field, Tommy Tanks, and then you bring up Hae-Sung Kim, who's batting, 283 in the minors right now, who's got 15 hits out of 53 at-bats. Do you do that? Is that something you would do? If you were the Dodger manager, would you do that move right there? I'm tending to think that I would. And how long do you give Pajes that leash? How long is his leash? How long does he go? I mean, batting 159 right now with 44 at-bats, that's a pretty good number to have 44 at-bats, but not a 159. You got to expect at some point it shakes loose. And to his credit, it did shake loose. What do you have? Back-to-back home runs to get those 2 home runs. But before those 2 home runs, he'd probably be batting like .050. But so how long do you let Pajes go? I mean, if it's not hurting the team. And that's the scary thing about the team. Think about the Dodgers right now, okay? Think about, 6 through 9 have not been hitting in the batting order. But the Dodgers are still up there in wins, undefeated at home. So you got to add that up to the Dodgers and take a look at the numbers right there. I mean, they're doing this while the lower part of the order, Max Muncy, 174, Pajes, 159, Chris Taylor, 143. These are what they have shot. What? What do you got? Miggy Rowe. What does he got? 185. Kike, 103. Those are the batting averages. And these guys are having like 30 at bats to 45 at bats and not putting up the numbers yet. So, and you look at that 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th spot, and you need those spots to contribute. Those spots have to contribute for the Dodgers for them to be ultra successful. And the Dodgers, don't get me wrong, the Dodgers are successful right now. I mean, what are they, 3rd place because the Giants keep winning, the Padres keep winning. But no matter how you slice that right there, you're going to need that bottom of the order to start hitting. And then what do you do? What do you do about third base? What if Max continues not to be able to come out of that slump? I mean, I feel like Max can come out of the slump. I think the guy's going to be okay. But, I mean, what do you do if Max is continually hitting 174 with no home runs? I mean, think about that. How many at-bats has he had with a 4.85 OPS and not a single home run for Max Muncy? And then you got Chris Taylor, and what do you do with Chris Taylor? Dave Roberts has even admitted he doesn't even know what to do. Like, where do you play him? The great thing about Chris Taylor is the guy is a utility guy, and he can play. But, I mean, he's owed, I think, $12 million left in that contract. So even if you tried to move Taylor to someone, you're going to end up paying out of pocket, and that's what the Dodgers would have to do. They'd have to pay out of pocket. So I don't know what the answer is. Is the answer to shake things up and bring some dudes that are producing on the AAA level and bring them up and give them a shot? Let the kids play? Is that the idea? Is that what the Dodgers need to do? Is that what they need to do to make it happen? Because if 6 through 9 is batting under 200 and they continue this for another 10 or 20 games, and I'm not trying to be the dude who's like, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. Everything's horrible. Nothing's working. When you have a team as good as the Dodgers are, as good as they can produce, as good as what they can do on the field, when you have a team like that, it's magnified when there's mistakes. And you can't have mistakes. You need these guys to produce. So do you shake them up and move them down? Do you move Max to OKC to get it right? Do you move Chris down there? What do you do with CT3? These are questions, man, that have to be answered by the Dodgers and the players. And the greatest news, what I keep saying about this, is they're batting super low, and they're still in contention, and they're still playing good. You wouldn't be undefeated at home if you weren't doing something right. And the Dodgers are definitely doing something right when it comes to that, but it'll start glaring after a while. It's definitely going to start glaring. And you look at Chris Taylor's OPS. Now, granted, Taylor, you can't say anything to Taylor because the dude's only had 7 at-bats. I think Dave Roberts put him in a garbage at the end of last night, I think, for the end of the inning, and took Conforto out. But, I mean, with 7 at-bats, but how do you get hot with Chris Taylor? You're not going to play him at second base because you got Tommy Edman. And you're damn sure not taking Tommy Edman out of the lineup. That guy's been the catalyst, man. So with Chris Taylor, he's kind of the odd man out, and his future is uncertain with the Dodgers. What are the Dodgers going to do with Chris Taylor? How are you going to get him? How are you going to get him? Someone said, what does he say? Robert said, who is CC3? No, CT3. It's pretty easy to figure out, Robert. Chris Taylor, Chris with a C, Taylor with a T, CT3, bro. I don't know what you heard. Clean the wax out. All right. So what do you do there? My thoughts right there is Chris Taylor is got to move off because he's taking the spot from somebody else. And when you're taking someone else's spot, you need to have him out of that mix. You're taking a roster spot right there, and that's the thing you don't want to do. You don't want to take a roster spot and not be able to produce and, hitting at 143. And like, look, I'm not harping the guy, but I'm just saying if Doc isn't going to give the guy at bats, and he's got a 286 OPS, no RBIs, no home runs, no stolen bases, 143, you got to do something. You can't just, hey, man, you know what? He's been on the team for 10 years. He deserves to be on the team. Sure he does, but does he deserve to take up a spot in the lineup? I don't think he does. I don't think Chris Taylor does take up a spot. You need him to take a spot. You need someone else down, someone else to be in that position, someone else who can maybe fill in outfield and fill in infield as well. I mean, look at what Dalton Rushing has been training him to play outfield. So could Rushing be the guy? I mean, Fiducia, he got brought up and got nothing. He got nothing. You get nothing and like it. Like, you bring Fiducia up, and I'm going to rant for a second, okay? Freddie's out for the next 6 games, right? He was. He's back now. And you bring Fiducia up to hopefully play first. So then you have Kike, who is awesome, a Dodger great. We love Kike. He's been with the Dodgers since 2014 or something, off and on. Yeah, he went away, but he came back. He means so much to the Dodgers. But you have Kike cover first, and Kike batting 103 right now, right? 39 at bats. But he does have 4 home runs. The weird thing is, the only hits he has are home runs, 4 of them. So is Kike swinging for the fence, or is he swinging for base hits? Because it sure seems like he's getting a lot of home runs and no other hits. So you bring Kike in to cover Freddie, and then you let Fiducia come in with like 1 inning left and just get some garbage at bat. I don't think that's a way to even tell. And is that even fair to do to that dude? Bring him up and put him in. Start him a game. You could have sat. He's a young guy, first of all. And the temperatures were cold out there in Washington. So why not take the 33-year-old and let him have a night off, and yet the young gun in his 20s come out and play in the cold weather for just a night? It's not like it's going to hurt anyone. Just let him play a freaking night. And Fiducia didn't even get 1 good at-bat. He had 2 at-bats out of 6 games. That's it. And instead of starting Barnes, who hasn't got a hit this year, and I'm not harshing these guys, I'm just saying the moves. It's the moves, man. You got to make some moves if you're going to do that. And you're going to bring Barnes in. Barnes only had 10 at-bats, but he doesn't even have a base hit. So he's batting 0 and a 0 OPS. So I would think the game that Barnes started, when Fiducia is sitting there on the bench, hey, coach, can I come in? I'm right here. They should have put him in. Should have, could have, would have. I would have. I would have had him start at least 1 game over Kike. Because Kike is awesome. As much as we love Kike, you don't make him an everyday player, right? You let him play. You let him have rest days. You put him in. You pepper him in here and there because the dude can play anywhere. But to saddle him up and say, hey, man, it's all on you. 6 games. It's going to be 30 degrees. And you're going to play first base, which Kike's not going to complain. He's going to play wherever he wants to play. The guy's awesome. But I don't think that does him any favors. And it sure doesn't give you a sample of what Fiducia can do. And he's been playing. Look, I'm not saying that what he does in OKC is going to translate to the major leagues and up at the big show. I'm not saying that. But if you don't give him a shot, you don't freaking know. Do you? You don't freaking know unless you give the guy a shot. And that was my whole point. I thought day 1 when he got brought up that he's going to get at least 1 start. I actually thought he's probably going to get 2 or 3 starts to see what he can do. But just a single garbage at bat at the end of a game, at the end of 2 games, 1 at bat, I just don't think that was the way to go. Right? Am I wrong on this? I don't know. All right. Enough on that. I'm getting worked up. Shouldn't drink coffee in the afternoon. Let's talk Glasnow. What the heck? What the heck was that? Glasnow's last start in Washington. I got nothing but props for that dude. He is an amazing pitcher. He means so much to the team. But when he started pitching, he was pitching great, okay? He was pitching great. Everything was fine. And it was dry. They hadn't had any rain. And then a little rain happens, and the mound starts to clog up with that heavy clay. Now, in a lot of mounds, you'll see they'll have almost like a tongue depressor that you can stick in your cleats and remove the mud. And remember, as a pitcher, for your safety, you can say something. As a pitcher, you are able to actually go, you know what? This isn't safe. I don't like it. Let's get some mound work. And you can call timeout and the grounds crew will come out and they'll get it done. They'll do some work on it. So Glasnow starts out pitching good. A little bit of rain cakes everything up, and then he starts having trouble. I think he walked 4 in a row or something like that, and he couldn't get the mud out of his cleat. Why the heck? Why the heck at that point, Glasnow? You don't need to get through the game any faster. Stop, get help, ask for help. Get the grounds crew to come out there and fix it, because you know what happened the very next inning? The grounds crew for the Nationals pitcher, they cleaned things up. But it was too late for Glasnow. He'd already been pulled from the game. So that's a situation like, you're the pitcher, you're out there, you know it's not right. And if it's not right, say something about it. See something? Say something. That's what they say, right? I don't think they meant about mound work, but anyway. So now Glasnow sporting a 6.43 ERA, and he will pitch tomorrow in the third game against the Cubs. So we'll see how that goes. But once again, you got troubles on the mound. Do something about it. Get those guys out there. Get the ground crew. Those guys make enough money. All right, going to some of the comments coming in here. Robert says, I'm baffled on why Roberts keeps Barnes around. Man, dude, Robert, exactly, right? Look, and here's the only thing I can think of why Doc does this with Barnes. Because Barnes is almost like a coach to the team. And Barnes, remember, would always catch Kershaw. So Barnes is a good chemistry guy in the dugout. He's great in the clubhouse, and he's a great coach. He can actually he helped Will Smith tremendously when Will Smith came up. He's a great help, and he'll probably be a coach down the road. He literally will probably be a coach, whether it's a catcher's coach or an actual or a manager or whatever. But the same thing, I agree. Why do you keep bringing him out there? And once again, why did Fiducia not get that start that Barnes got, right? And the weather, too. That goes back to the weather. I'm an old-ass dude. I get it, man. When it's cold, it's cold. And it's harder to get warmed up. So you got someone in their 20s, man, mid-20s to upper 20s. Send him out there. He's been producing. It's not like with Barnes hasn't had a hit in 10 at-bats. It's not like he's doing better than Fiducia would have. Put Fiducia in. Give him a shot. Put him at first. Give Kike a day off. Something. All right, Ray says Edman and Teo have been the most consistent hitters. Man, and you know what? Ray, spot on. Ray Guzman Jr., man. Ray spitting knowledge at you. That's true stuff right there. And Teo, I like the way Teo's going right now. Like, he's producing early. And that's the one thing that we've always been able to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. The first 4 spots in the batting order have been producing, honestly. I mean, Freddie's going to need to step up his game a little bit now that he's back, but we'll get to that in a second. But I tell you right there, Teo has been producing. And what is Teo good at? Getting hits with men in scoring position. How many times does he does that? I mean, there's so many times where there's nobody on base. I get so excited when Teo comes to bat and there's ducks on the pond. I mean, that just is a feel-good moment because he seems to produce every time. He delivers. I mean, not every time. Obviously, it's baseball. But Teo has been coming through. The Dodgers, I mean, Freeman, a damn genius, man. Think about it. I mean, it took a while to sign Teo. But I'll tell you what, Teo wanted to be on the Dodgers no matter what. So that was a little bit of help there. Okay? He was staying around waiting. He wanted to be on. I read an article the other day saying that Teo might think to leave the Dodgers at some time and go back to Toronto. Are you freaking kidding me? Why? In the near future, the article said. Oh, like in 3 years when his contract's done with the Dodgers? But they could sign him again for another year. He's got that too. Who in their right mind could actually send me a message and say that you would do something like that? That you would literally trade Teo, maybe it's next year or the year after, before he's done with the Dodgers. There's no way. That dude means too much to the team, and he's been producing. All right. Ray says, I'm not happy with Snell and Glasnow start so far this season. In my eyes, it's Yamamoto, Sasaki, Snell, and Glasnow. Bro, Brad, let Barnes start helping coach. He's taking room on our roster. Ray, spit knowledge. This is dangerous. Me with coffee in the afternoon. This is not something I should be doing. All right. So, okay, I can agree with that right there. Can you give me a good reason why Fiducia didn't start over Barnes in the Washington Nationals game? Just any reason why that would be. And why is Doc doing that? And look, here's the deal. I'm a fan of Doc. And I'll tell you why. Dave Roberts. Because I was the Dodgers stadium DJ from 2003 all the way to 2008. And some of those years, Dave was on the team. So I would play songs when Dave would steal a base. So he'd steal second, sliding in head first. I'd play Try to Catch Me Riding Dirty. So I would do that. And so I, in my 5 years working for the Dodgers, stoked to have Dave Roberts on the team. And he was a spark plug. I mean, it was awesome. Great experience. So I'm going to have that personal attachment to Dave Roberts being from those years as the Dodgers DJ. But Dave Roberts, with that being said, over manages sometimes in my eyes. And I mean, some of you will agree, some of you won't agree and say he's a freaking genius. And baseball is hard to manage, and it is because there's a lot of working parts to it. But Dave Roberts, sometimes I think he used to overmanage, and I think what happened was that came back to bite him a little bit. And since that happened to him a bunch, I think since then, he tries not to overmanage as he had done maybe, 5 years ago or 4 years ago. So he's kind of changed his strategy a little bit, staying with players longer instead of switching them out. And look, the way he called the World Series in those bullpen games, shut the front door. The dude was money. He had duct tape and chewing gum and toothpicks holding these guys together, and he brought them out there, and he played baseball, and he got them to play their best of the best. And he did a bullpen game where he had to match up pitchers. And it wasn't just like, hey, I'm going to play these 4 pitchers tonight. I'm going to play these 5 pitchers the next night. No, it's not like that. He played it for matchups. And that is absolutely huge. So his management technique on what he did and how he handled the World Series, major props. But the last 7 games, of course, last time was a great game. It was a good 3-0 win. But you got Yamamoto on the mound, and you better win those games. Because he's going to put you in contention every single time to get the win. And look at it. 9 strikeouts I think he had. So he had his career high at 10, now a 9. Like, Yamamoto is your ace on the team. There is no doubt about it. You hear what I'm saying? No, he is. The dude is the man. Yamamoto is the man, and the way he pitches. So you better win those games, okay? He's going to give you that opportunity to win because he's going to keep you in the game to where you can get that big knock when you need it. So for me, you got to win those games. Now, Sasaki, that's a whole different other story with Sasaki in the mix. Because you want to be careful because he's a young dude and you don't want to hurt the ego. You don't want to hurt him. You want him to have a positive reaction after every outing so he can build on that, get stronger. And that's what you want. And you got 2 guys you have to kind of bring around and be very careful with. All right, back to some of the stuff going in here. Ray chimes in. I really feel if Roberts gives Fiducia a chance, he would perform. Ray, thank you. I don't know if you know Dave's number, but maybe we can text him or direct message him and say, hey, let him play, man. Let him get out there. Robert chimes in. When we re-signed T-Car, I went to DQS and spent $2K on ice cream for whoever walked in the door. Well, thank you, Robert. That's pretty cool. I wish I would have been walking in the door and you're spending 2 G's on ice cream. Appreciate that. Yeah. But with the Dodgers, we talked about the pitching. Yamamoto, he's your ace no matter what. Roki, you got to be careful with him. But What about May right now? What's your thoughts on May? Because it seems like a lot of people right now are tossing May around in trades left and right. Like, I know it's the rumor mill and they spew all this kind of stuff all the time. And they say the Dodgers could upgrade by trading a 60, this guy and this guy. And, come on. At some point, it's like you get tired of hearing it. But the Dustin May talk, would the Dodgers actually trade May? Well, if you look at what May's done, you look at what May's done recently, and you look at what he's done before the injury, I think he's lost about 3 miles per hour on the fastball. So what was he at? 97, 98? What's he at now? 95, 94 right now? Is that a cause for concern, or does that build back up with time for him? That's the only thing I can think of. But if there's one thing that I think about is that little bit of delay right there. And so maybe is that an opportunity that you would trade him and send him somewhere else? What would you do there? I don't know. Okay, this one is Ray says, Brad Bro, consistency wins games. And it does. And that's the deal, man. Consistency does win games. And you have to be consistent. That's why the Dodgers are consistent at home. Look, the Dodgers faithful, man. They're the ones who bring it every single night. And so Dodger fans represent. And so Dodger Stadium, man, and I've been to over 500 some odd games at Dodger Stadium. And I'll tell you what, there's nothing better than those fans behind your back, because they're nearly sold out every single darn night. Other teams can't say that. So Dodgers definitely have an advantage when it comes to that. 100%. What is this one? May is all over the place in the strike zone. The truth hurts. And it does. So is that why his name's getting floated around so much? Right? Is that why his name's getting floated so much that a possible trade for May to get rid of him? Like, is that what people want to do? I don't think you do. You got to give May another start before you start talking that craziness. All right. Let's talk about Shohei. Shohei OPS right now. First off, 1.036. That's Shohei's OPS. He's batting just under the 3 knock. He's at 293. Shohei's had 4 home runs, 5 RBIs, and 3 stolen bases. Compare him to Tommy Tanks. Tommy's got 6 home runs, 2 more than Shohei, and 15 more RBIs than Shohei does right now. Obviously, we all know Shohei is going to get on track, and he's going to deliver like the postman. So I don't even worry at all when it comes to Shohei and what he's going to do. But just to compare what Tommy Tanks is doing, what Tommy Edman's doing, and Shohei's doing right now. But then again, Tommy Edman, Shohei, Teo, and Mookie they've been sending it. Those dudes have been playing some very good baseball. Okay, so then there's been the talk. And this is the funny thing. I got to bring this up. These rumors come out as soon as there was a couple of bad games for the Dodgers. All of a sudden, there's all these rumors. The Dodgers looking for a new second baseman. The Dodgers looking for a new center fielder. The Dodgers looking for a new second baseman. The Dodgers. It's ridiculous on how many people it comes out on. And everybody is saying that. And all these stories are, we're going to trade this guy. How do you trade this guy? Look, here's the deal. The Dodgers and Mookie, they've already come to an agreement. We can say whatever we want to say. We can bitch and moan and complain that Mookie's not a shortstop. Mookie's not a shortstop. Mookie needs to play in the outfield. Mookie, you can say that all day long, and I'm not making fun of you. I'm just saying that's what they're saying. Like, Mookie is going to play shortstop. He has the drive. He has the athletic prowess to be able to do it. And sure, has he played outfield his whole life? Yes. But he can play shortstop. And he will prove it because he's trying harder than anyone else is going to try. And sure, is he going to make mistakes? He's going to make mistakes. But as soon as he makes like 1 or 2 mistakes, then all of a sudden everyone's like, get Mookie back to right field. Get Mookie back to right field. What do you do with Teo? Where does Teo go? I don't understand that move. At this point, Mookie is going to play shortstop. They're not going to take Teo out of right field. They're not going to do that. They're not going to take Teo out of right and put Mookie in right. You don't take a bat that's hitting and replace it with another bat that's hitting. You keep that bat in, however you have to do it. All right. Here we go. This one is from Alexander. He says, I've been saying the same thing you're saying, Brad J, about CT3. At this point, his roster spot is more valuable than the money owed. He needs to go to hell of a Dodger. Wait, he needs to go. He's hell of a Dodger, but it's time. Oh, my gosh, I thought you said he needs to go to hell. Yeah, you forgot a comma there. Almost made me definitely screw up. He needs to go hell of a Dodger, but it is time. And look, I agree. I can't argue with that. Hurtado. I can't argue with that at all. And I like the dude. CT3, though, he's got to go. He's got to go. At this point, that roster spot is way too damn important. And you might be saying, yeah, but the Dodgers are in it, Brad. The Dodgers are doing fine. It's okay. It's not okay because he's taking a roster spot out. If you're not going to play him, put someone in that you could rotate in and out and let him play. And like Alexander said, it's not about the money at this point. You almost want to pay to be able to bring someone else up. You got to do something there. And it's not fair to Taylor because think about Taylor. It's fair because that's how baseball works. But he could play somewhere else. He definitely could play somewhere else. And does he get this chance? No, because he's on the Dodgers with another year left in his contract, and he's not getting playing time. And he's not a young kid. I think he's 33 or 34. Not that that's old, but you know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do with him? The spot is too important. The spot is too important. And you know what? I think you got to get this guy somewhere, at least for his own benefit, so the dude can freaking play. Like, let him get out and play some ball. That's what he wants to do, too, as well. And if there's not a spot for him on the Dodgers, then why is he on the Dodgers still? Okay? Move him. Bring someone up who can fill the void. And get Chris Taylor to another team so he can play and get consistent. Because I think if you give Chris Taylor an opportunity to be a player a lot of time, like not every day, but let's say 70% of the schedule you let him play, I think that guy will produce. But there's no spot for him. So what do? He's batting 143, a 286 OPS, but only 7 at-bats. 15 games, 16 games, that's it? And you're not getting ABs? Hello? Is someone there? Oh, man, sorry. Sorry about that. This one's from Guzman Jr. here. What amazes me is that Edman has surprising power, and he looks like he doesn't swing hard. And he's like 150 pounds soaking wet, probably. Like, that dude could contribute. And how did that happen? He like fell into the Dodgers' lap. And I forget his number, what his contract is for the 5 years, but it's not a ton of money for what that dude does. So agree. This one, Brad Bro. I like Bellinger, but he's gone. But Taylor is still around, and I don't get it. I like Belly, too. He seemed like he was stoned all the time, but obviously he wasn't, but he sure looked like it. But anyways, Belly, like, a huge fan. Here's one thing I want to say positive about Bellinger. I'm glad that he's a Yankee. And the reason I'm glad he's a Yankee, because he was a Dodger. Was he Rookie of the Year when he was with the Dodgers? I think he was. But when he was with the Dodgers, you know, and he goes to the Yankees, his dad played for the Yankees. And it's like a father-son thing. I think that's pretty good. So I like Bellinger being on the Yankees, and I absolutely hate the Yankees. I don't mind saying it. Hate them. And I can go back to when I was a little kid and when the Dodgers got beat by the Yankees. When Reggie Jackson beat them those 2 years in a row. In the 70s. 77, 78? Hate him ever since then. Got him back in 81, sure, but got him back last year, sure, but not enough. To me, if you beat him 50 times in the World Series, still not enough. Yankees need to go down. Here's one for Robert. Says, what about third base? Yeah, what about third base? Max, let's talk about that one. Max Muncy's at third base right now. Hey, Brad J, what's Max Muncy hitting? 174 right now. No home runs, 2 RBIs. Those were clutch. The 2 RBIs were clutch, help us win that game. But a 485. A 485 OPS for him. He's got some at-bats. So what do? I mean, do you put Hunter at third base? Once again, give Fiducia a chance to play. What? I mean, you brought him up to play first base, 6 games. You didn't use him. Okay, Doc. You let him sit. You gave him 2 garbage at bats, and then you sent him back down. I mean, if I'm him, I'm like, really? That's all you're going to let me do? Just have a garbage at bat in the 8th inning? That's it. And that's it. And then to pour salt in the wound, here's Fiducia, who's a catcher, who's been training to play first base, third base, outfield, wherever to get some playing time, and then Barnes starts over him. I don't know how that, and once again, I think this goes back to when Roberts used to kind of overmanage a little bit, and I think now, Roberts sticks by his guys. He's a player's coach because he's a player. Don't hate the player, hate the game, and I think he's changed it. I think he's changed his style, but you still got to look at other people and give other people a shot, especially if they're producing down low. If they're producing in OKC, come on. You got 162 freaking games to play. You can't find one day that this dude can play who's batting over 300 and he's doing big things, but you can't let him play? I don't know. This one said from William. William said Edman is a gold glove at short. Mookie is a gold glove in right. He'll never win a gold glove at shortstop. Conforto, center. Mookie in right. Teo in left. Wake up. Thank you, William Serrano, on that one. That's a good one. Edman is a gold glove at short. So let's break down what William says here. Okay. Edmonds is a gold glove at short. He sure is. Yep. He can be a gold glove at second or short. I feel like he could be a gold glove at center field, putting the time in. Mookie is a gold glove in right. 100%. Don't doubt that. He'll never win a gold glove at shortstop. And I agree. I don't think Mookie will ever win a gold glove. But does Mookie excuse me. Does Mookie need to win a gold glove? I don't see where that's not. Well, okay. William, let me break it down. What is driving Mookie, right? Is Mookie about the personal satisfaction of getting a gold glove, or is Mookie about the team? You even said it when he went to the White House. He said, the team's going, I'm going, okay? He's a team player, right? He's not out about, here's another feather in my cap, here's another trophy. So I agree that would be a good mix. Teo in left. I like Teo in right because he's got the cannon. He's got the arm. I think putting him in left, that's great, but I don't think he's as fast. I don't know. But once again, it goes back to Mookie is a gold glove in right. That's true. But I think that Teo is a fit that you want in right field. That arm alone. Look, he's already got some assists this year from right field. So I'm going to argue that one. Conforto center. Is he getting long in the tooth for center field? That's a lot of running for Conforto, but okay, I could see that. And Mookie in right, Teo in left, wake up. All right. And I'm not saying that couldn't happen. William Serrano, thank you for that. Appreciate that. But once again, Mookie's not trying to be a gold glove. Mookie wants world championships. He wants World Series wins. He wants to be a world champion again and again and again. That's what Mookie wants. Okay? Mookie's not going to play that day and going, oh man, I hope I play really good at short so I can eventually get a gold glove at short. Acclimates are great, but I don't think that's his game. I don't think he's playing for that. All right. Another one. Muncy has never been a real good third baseman. Put Rojas at third base. He's better baseman than Muncy. Plus, Muncy isn't hitting. Wake up. You guys, I'm drinking coffee, man. I'm freaking not asleep. Stop telling me to wake up. That's 2 in a row. Tell me to wake up. All right. So let's talk about that one. All right. Muncy's never been a real good third baseman, he says. Okay? Not above average. I think he's a good first baseman. I don't think he's like an excellent first baseman, but I think he's a good first baseman. I don't think he's liable. I think he's got tremendous defense. He's not the youngest guy out there, but I think he can play third. But he's not hitting, and you're not lying on that one. Max Muncy's hitting 174. He's hitting 174. He's got 2 RBIs, but he's got no home runs. How many at-bats does he have? Like 30 or 40 at-bats with not a home run for Max Muncy? 485 on the OPS? Yeah, I don't know about that one. Yeah, he's not producing, but when you say bring in Rojas, well, what's Miggy doing? Miggy's only batting 185 as well. Miggy's been having some problem, and his OPS is 399. 27 at-bats, so he's had a good, almost 30 at-bats, and you're batting 185, no RBIs, no home runs, nothing with runners in scoring position, 399 OPS. So it's not like, hey, let's take Muncy out, who's batting 174, to put Miggy Rowe in, who's batting 185. Like, those 11 points, I don't think makes a difference. And, yeah, I'm not trying to put it all in the batting averages, but just look at the numbers and look at the RBIs, look at the home runs, look at the OPS. Like, Muncy's OPS is 485. Miggy's 399. So, yeah, I don't know. Here's another one. When I was talking about Mookie, I like this. What drives Mookie is the pride, and that's a good thing. Teoscar Hernandez is strong and is a strong right fielder. Yeah, right on. Got to think so, too, as well. And, look, you want a cannon in right field. That just goes without saying. You want a guy that can get an outfield assist. You want a guy that can huck it from way out there. And, Teo is a guy who can hit 30 home runs and a guy who can nail someone at the plate from right field. So I don't think you mess with that. I think right now, Teo's your right fielder, and I wouldn't even mess around with that. I wouldn't even change that. I wouldn't even think about changing that. All right, not sure the spelling, but it's a no-brainer. Fiducia at third. Yep. Robert's saying this one. Robert, I like the idea right now because he's not going to get – look, Doc didn't use him at first base and used Kike for every single one of those, 6 games that he put him out there and didn't let Fiducia get one start at it. So maybe that is the thing. Like, bring him up. Someone's got to go down, okay? Is there a reason that Chris Taylor stays up in that scene? Maybe Chris Taylor got to get set down, or maybe Taylor's out of options, or maybe Taylor just has to move along, and Dodgers have to move him and have to part ways. A 10-year Dodger, he means so much. He's been so clutch over all the years and what he's done for the Dodgers, but you get to a point where, okay, he's taking a roster spot up. What are we going to do here? What's the plan? And to me, Taylor moved down, Fiducia up, let him fill in for Max, and let him play third. I think, like Robert says, it's a no-brainer. Will Doc think that way? Would Doc do that? I don't know. But you know what? Some moves are going to have to be made because you have to think about this. You know what's coming up? Wednesday night at Dodger Stadium is Korean night. Okay? So bear with me on this one. So it's Korean night at Dodger Stadium, right? You got Hae-Sung Kim, who's playing in OKC, who's put up some number. 53 at-bats, 15 hits, batting .283, just shy of the 300 mark. I think he's got 2 home runs. And next Wednesday night is Korean night. I will bet you right now that's a bring up right there. I'll bet you that's a bring up. They're going to bring Hae-Sung Kim up, and I would think they would do that before Wednesday night. And that might mean Pajes is the one that goes down. But to me, I would keep Pajes up there. I would send Chris Taylor either packing. I don't know what the options are on him. I'm going back down to OKC, but I think that you've got to move him and clear that spot up, put someone else in there. Because once again, if you're going to go 6 through 9, and 6 through 9 is going to bat under 200, 174, 143, 103, 185. Those aren't numbers that get it done. So you got to start thinking about it at some point. So my prediction is Hae-Sung Kim gets brought up Tuesday, probably Tuesday. So he gets up so he can fill in and play. And then they put him at second. Then they take Tommy and put Tommy in center field. And Pajes takes a break for a little while. And who knows? Hae-Sung Kim could step up. All right. Serrano. William, what's up, Will? Is Muncy on his last year of his contract? How does he stand on his contract? Maybe a trade is a good idea. He is aging at third. Boy, right before our eyes, isn't he, William? And once again, I'm a huge Muncy fan. Don't think that my words are me being aggro towards these players. It's just part of baseball. Sometimes you're not going to get the guys that produce. And the contract, William, from what I looked at, his contract is this is the last year. Either Chris Taylor and Muncy, this is both their last year. I think one of them has an option for the next year at like $10 million, but there is no freaking way that the Dodgers are going to keep Muncy and Taylor around. If truly both of them are in their last year of contract, which I think both of them are, then they're done. Then I do not see them being Dodgers in the 2026 season. Not at all. There's no way. Too many guys coming down the pipeline that can get stuff done. So William, there you go. There's the contract. Here we go. Here's another one. I'd rather have a player that gets a crap load of base hits would score runs than someone who hits home runs and gets home runs. It's good points. That's a good point. You want base hits. And that was the whole thing I was talking about, Ray, about Kike. Like, okay, love Kike. He's had, 40 at-bats so far this season. Okay, he's batting 103. He's got some pop, though. He's got the same amount of home runs as Shohei does. They both have 4, right? But Kike doesn't have any other hits. Just 4 home runs, but 7 RBIs. He's got more RBIs than Shohei. Okay? And his OPS 573, but Shohei's OPS 1.036. That's the difference right there. So, what do you do? I think there's been so there's been so much hype on Kike this last season and winning the World Championship that I think that Kike is believing his own stuff and just swinging for fences. I mean, I'm watching his at-bats, and it does seem like he's really getting under the ball. Like, he wants to crack those things out. And who didn't? Who wouldn't? That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. But I think Kike needs to concentrate on getting base hits. That's his bread and butter, man. That's his bread and butter. Coming off the bench, utility guy, put him in anywhere, he produces. And put him in anywhere in October, and he overproduces. And makes things happen in a big way. So don't wear out all the good mojo on Kike trying to play him 6 games in a row. Okay, Doc? You hearing me? All right. Here's another one. We need a common sense coach in the dugout because Robert's brain farts now and then. 1 or 2 or 8th inning at bats. Are you sending back down? Come on, man. Seriously. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, how do you defend that? I mean, seriously, how do you defend the fact that you bring him up and with the inkling that he's probably going to fill in for Freddie because he's got 6 games without Freddie on the road, cold temperature, not the most best place to be, but you got a guy in his 20s who definitely could probably handle the cold, and you want to bring him into the mix. And you bring him up, you give him 2 at-bats at garbage time in the 8th innings, and then, like I said, to pour salt in the wounds or throw sand in his face, start Barnes, who's not got a base hit yet at 10 at-bats, overproduced yet, who could have produced that game or could at least got a chance to. But it's like, you're almost like if you're producing, you go, hey, coach, are you going to actually play me or should I just stay in OKC? They got some cool steakhouses here. I still think that was a bad call. I just think that you should have played him. You don't have any idea what he's going to do right now because he's not had a chance to. So there you go there. All right. Will Smith. Big ups to Will Smith, though. Look, what he signed a 10-year deal. So I think we got Will for 9 more years. 37 at bats so far this year, batting 324, 1 home run, 7 RBIs, and a 938 OPS. So Will Smith has been producing. Conforto, 220 with 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. Now remember, Conforto hit 20 home runs last year. So you got to think, I got to think that Conforto, looking at 2 right now, that maybe he's on could he be on a 30 home run pace? That would be awesome. Not awesome, that's for sure. Yes, 917. So pretty darn good right there on the OPS. Like to see him convert. And you know what? What does Freddie need? He just needs playing time. So you got Freddie. He needs playing time. So the fact that he is back, that's awesome. Mookie's been delivering. He's batting 311, 3 home runs, 8 RBIs. Got 1 stolen base, just under 1,000, 937 OPS. But that's looking good. So you got to make the decision. Here's one for William. So, Brad, where do you think the next trade the Dodgers make to improve the team? Man, that's a good call. I mean, I read a lot of freaking rumors every single day that makes me sick to my stomach. Like I read a rumor that we're going to trade Teo. That was absolutely ridiculous. Man, I don't think the Dodgers make a trade right now. And if the Dodgers make a trade, I think they're going to have to make a trade for pitching, depending on what happens with May. Like if Sasaki comes out, throws awesome, Glasnow comes out, then May gets it, then I think the Dodgers don't need someone right now. And don't get rid of anyone. That's for sure. That's all I'm saying. So don't get rid of anyone. So what I'm thinking on this one, Mookie's going to stay at shortstop. To wrap this up, Mookie is going to stay at shortstop. That's where he's at. He's not going to change. Tommy is going to be at second base. They might move him to center field if they send Pajes down to bring Hae-Sung Kim up before Wednesday night, which is Korean night, which I think that you got to do that. And Outman and Miller, could that be trade bait that the Dodgers are looking for to go in a different direction? So there you go. Hey, that's going to do it for Dodger Digest. That's my first live by myself. That's the Brad J, the Brad Stradamus first solo live, and you just witnessed it. So thank you for being part of it. That is going to do it for me. Thanks for tuning in as usual. Subscribe, like, and turn on the notifications. And always remember as you go through your day to think Dodger Blue.